Let's list. Israel has been harassing and putting Gaza in an open-air prison, depriving Gaza from medication, from trade, from access, from all kinds of things. And if the world have conscience, world calls everything wrong, all wrong. What Hamas did is wrong. What Israel did is wrong.
Nation on earth would agree that depriving children of food and water is acceptable. I'm here because I'm a human being, and anyone with a conscience believes that a civilian population should never be punished in this way. It's collective punishment, it's a war crime. And unless we stop it, unless we get out there and say something, it's going to end up with thousands losing their lives.
Can you put into words how you feel about the loss of life on both sides?
Every life is precious. But the root of this violence is the occupation. It's not complicated. It's a settler colonial state imposing apartheid and oppression on an indigenous people. And that's wrong everywhere, for anybody. And it has to be true that all the Palestinians want is freedom. And we must support that in equal rights. And I stand up here, I'm so pleased to see so many of my brothers and sisters with big hearts who know the truth. And the Western media has a duty now to tell the truth about what's happening, because I am seeing the worst horrors I could ever have imagined. I grew up in the shadow of the Holocaust, and we said never again, and that means never again for anyone.
I'm about to blow your mind. See, I don't care where you land on this issue, but if you're a human being, like a fucking human being, right? Hang with me for 1 second. So as soon as I heard that Israel cut off Palestine's water, my first thought was, who the fuck cuts off water to millions of children and civilians during a time of war? What kind of a barbaric act is that? And my second thought was, wait, why the fuck does Israel control Palestine's water? And a brief search got me to this fucking article by Amnesty International titled The Occupation of Water. Alright? Soon after Israel occupied the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip, the Israeli military authorities consolidated complete power over all water resources and water-related infrastructure in the occupied Palestinian territories, OPT. And I know what you're thinking. Well, they took over existing infrastructure, so build some new one. Israeli Military Order 158 stated that Palestinians could not construct any new water installation without first obtaining a permit from the Israeli army. Since then, the extraction of water from any new source, the development of any new water infrastructure would require permits from Israel, which are near impossible to obtain. It gets fucking better. They are unable to drill new water wells, install pumps, or deepen existing wells, in addition to being denied access to the Jordan River, right? Israel even controls the collection of rainwater throughout most of the West Bank, and rainwater harvesting cisterns owned by Palestinian communities are often destroyed by the Israeli army. As a result, some 180 Palestinian communities in rural areas in the occupied West Bank have no access to running water. They don't have access to fucking running water, bro. What the fuck is going on here? Because the resulting disparity in access to water between Israelis and Palestinians is truly staggering. Water consumption by Israelis is at least 4 times that of Palestinians living in the OPT. Palestinians consume an average of 73 liters of water per day per person, which is well below the World Health Organization's recommended daily minimum. Motherfucking minimum. In rural areas, it's as low as 20 liters per person per day. And how much water do Israelis drink? Sure, I'll tell you. By contrast, an average Israeli consumes approximately 300 liters of water per day. You see, we talk a lot about values, but let me tell you something about American values. If I took my fucking dog to a restaurant right now, the server or the owner on their own dime would bring out a cup of water for a stranger's fucking dog. This isn't during wartime. This is status quo. What kind of an insidious, fucking sick fucking government will make it a point to make sure, intentionally, that an entire population stays thirsty? People out here talking about freedom, voting rights, passports, airplanes. Can I get medical? Can I get education? Fucking water. You intentionally deprive a large group of people from having water. You are dehydrating children fucking intentionally. Who the fuck? What is going on here? So that's why you gotta make shit up about Palestinians to match the insidious nature of the way that you're treating them. That's fucking disgusting.
Let's list down all of the wrong things that happened. Hamas launched rockets with the sole intention to kill innocent Israelis, civilians. That is wrong. That's a war crime. That is a form of genocide, and it must never ever be justified, no matter what Israel did to Gaza. Israel has been harassing and putting Gaza in an open-air prison, depriving Gaza from medication, from trade, from access, from all kinds of things. That is also unforgivable, that is also inhumane, and therefore that I also outright condemn. The massacres of innocent civilians by Israel, that is also wrong. It is no less sinful than what Hamas did. So under no circumstance should we also condone that, be whichever divide we are on. Now, in response to Hamas doing whatever and continue to do to Israel, what did Israel do? Israel hammered not Hamas targets, because they don't even know Hamas was going to attack them. Suddenly they know where Hamas is in Gaza. They did not care. They just attack, and they did the same thing, tit for tat. So therefore, Israel also committed war crimes. They bombed, they sent rockets to kill innocent Gaza civilians. They did that. That is also wrong. And if the world have conscience, world calls everything wrong. All wrong. What Hamas did is wrong. What Israel did is wrong. And when innocent Israeli civilians were brought, their dead bodies paraded in Gaza, some Gazans, some Palestinians were celebrating. That is wrong. That is terrible. But then again, I don't want to judge them because of the atrocity that they've suffered. Probably there's really lunacy there. I don't want to judge them, but it is wrong to celebrate the death of innocent civilians. So these are wrong things. Now, what is even a graver sin is what Israel has done, depriving Palestine, the Palestinians, of water, electricity, food, and medication. That is slow death inflicted upon them. And why are you punishing the Palestinian people if you're after Hamas? By depriving water, how does that harm Hamas more than it harms Palestinian children and women? How? So therefore, Israel is committing war crime. And the world is allowing it. Is the world allowing it? Now this, if the world have conscience, we will be at the doorstep of World War III. We don't know what Russia can do, what Iran can do, what the other Muslim countries can do. US is already on standby. Europe, we don't know what Europe is going to do. This is going to get really ugly. But if we allow the deprivation of water, electricity, and food supply to the Gazans, and people die of starvation, kids and children, innocent kids and children die of starvation, that will not mean the death of Gazans only. It is the death of humanity. What I fear now is the wrath of our Maker. The Jews believe in Allah, Christians believe in Allah, Muslims believe in Allah, and if we think of the Almighty, do you believe the Almighty desires this to happen? Do you believe that Jews and Muslims that is obviously brought to life by the Almighty is not supposed to exist, and one race is supposed to be wiped out? The fact that they are all there at the Holy Land, what do you think our Maker desires? Okay, let me tell you what I think. I believe that everything should just be one land, and everyone should just live together, respecting each other's religion, tolerating each other's religion, not desiring anybody to be wiped out or to perish there, and to be treated fairly, not apartheid, not discriminating, and ceasing all the hatred. What is past, and begin a new life. If the people there do that, then you will see Allah's blessing onto that land. It will be peaceful, it will be prosperous, it will be harmonious, and so much can come out of it. I personally, as a Muslim, I got no problem if everything now turns into Israel and all the Palestinians live together in Israel. And that becomes the state of Israel. Leave Al-Aqsa there. Muslims can pray in Al-Aqsa. Jews can pray in their place of worship. And how bad is Israel as a country in terms of whatever it's doing for the world, the innovations. So therefore, I believe this is what Allah intends. Allah intends for everybody to live together under one fair government that treats everyone fairly and respecting everybody's religious sensitivities. This is what's happening. But if what is happening is perpetuating, US is not helping, and they are fueling the war even more. To them, blood is just capital for selling more bullets and bombs. It's about money. It's about power. This is what's important to people like US. So now, what will the world do? What is UN there for? Is it just to watch and see the massacre of an entire people, the Palestinians? Or will we decide to save humanity? I don't know what's going to happen in coming days. But if the massacre happens, broad daylight genocide massacre of innocent women and children, then Israel Israel and the world cannot claim to be victims anymore, because what they condemn, what Hamas did to their people, they are doing even worse now to the Gazan innocent civilians. It will be the death of humanity. And when there is death of humanity, await the wrath of Allah and see what will happen to the world.